What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Morning Grind. I am your host today, TJ Zwarych, ready to break down Friday's 11-game MLB DFS slate. Recording this Thursday night, and there is preseason NFL happening as we speak. The NFL season is almost here, almost upon us. I am joined by my guy, Chief Justice 06, Will Priester. How you doing?
I'm fantastic, man. Definitely glad to come on. We're gonna see if tennis can make my night amazing, and if so, then like I told you before the show in pre-show mode, what feels like a rough day is going to turn into a really good day real quick. So that's why it's good to have people you trust, have some irons in the fire, because you never know how they can turn on a niche sport like tennis until you've got some tennis investments. So very excited to come on and hang out with you and talk to these wonderful people.
Yeah, ready to break down this slate with the people. We're live on YouTube right now. If you're watching us live, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and even if you're watching with your coffee the next morning, Friday morning, getting ready for the slate, make sure you hit us with that like button as well. Let's start diving into it. We got 11 games. We're both yawning pre-show. We gotta ramp ourselves up and get into this one. First game of the slate, we got the Mets. We got the Baltimore Orioles. David Peterson going up against Dean Kramer. You have any interest in Peterson at 6,300 going up against the Orioles?
No,
me neither. Not going to be playing him. This is going to be one of those spots where we can save some time. How about Kramer going up against the Mets? Cheap price tag, 7,200. He's been pitching pretty decent lately outside of one game, and it was the Dodgers, so you can excuse him a little bit. Do you have any interest in Kramer?
Kramer's been okay. I think I'm going to use one of your phrases here. If I'm building lineups and I got 7,200, he's not someone I'll throw away. I'm not actively targeting Kramer, but I'm not – if he's a last piece in, I'm not going to throw up.
Yeah, I think that is very reasonable with a guy like Kramer on this slate. What about the bats? You looking to play the Mets against him? I feel like one of the other reasons I like Kramer is because the Mets just are kind of they're folding, they're done, and so outside of Pete and Lindor, I don't think I really want to play any of them.
I'm just sick of the Mets. I'm not playing the Mets anymore this season. I don't care if they're facing my 5-year-old daughter on the mound. I'm just. Well, she's 6 now. She turned 6 this year, but
they're definitely not going to play the Mets.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, she turned 6 in June. I'm done with the Mets. Just done.
Gutless, as our guy Kirk Dees would say. The Mets are absolutely gutless. But at least they found a way to get rid of Verlander and Scherzer's contracts, even though they had to give up like $50 million to do so. What about Baltimore going up against these Mets? David Peterson, I don't think is anything to fear. I don't know how much I love a full stack, but Austin Hayes, Anthony Santander, and most of all, Ryan Mountcastle I like here quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, man. We're getting Mountcastle at 3,800, a guy that's hit left-handed pitching okay this season. I like him a ton. And don't look now, Ryan Mountcastle is on like the tear of all tears. And I'm talking about the past few games. RBIs, hits, runs. I mean, he's single-handedly dragging the Baltimore Orioles across the finish line every game. At 3,800, he might be one of my favorite plays of the day. You're talking about, we can go ahead and get the morning grind game out of the way if you want to. Hitter under 4K to get 2 hits. Give me Ryan Mountcastle. I'll give you that one for free. I'll still give you another one at the end of the show. Mountcastle is definitely up there.
I don't want you to give another one because that was my number one that I had marked down. So you give me another one, you're probably going to take my number 2 too.
Listen, he's been good. I mean, he's been so good. Like I said, that's over a small sample the past few games, but he's really been good all season. I think I'd be stacking this team anyway. You got Adley at 51. I actually like this team probably a little bit more than you do, just because I do think they have something to play for. Like they could very well win this division. I like Baltimore continuing to be competitive here. I want to stack this team against Peterson.
Yeah, the Rutschman, Santander, Mountcastle, Hayes, Westberg would probably be the stack that I would want to go with most. The reason I'm probably not going to get a ton of full stacks and 150 lineups is because that's kind of the only full stack I like with this team. And so I'll have those 5 quite a bit. And then I'll have combinations and 3-man stacks, probably even more than that. Let's take it over to the next game. We got the White Sox at Cleveland, 8.5 total in this one. Seeing now that is not the order that we have it on DraftKings, I was looking at lineup HQ. And so let's run it back. Let's go Houston and New York, because the Mets Baltimore game was last of the 7:05 games on Plate IQ. And so that's why I had it up there as the next one. Good. We got Houston. We got the Yankees, 9 total in this one. Severino going up against Hunter Brown. You got any interest in Severino going up against Houston? Nope.
No.
So how about Hunter Brown going up against the Yankees at 8,400?
Hunter Brown is fringe for me today. Like I think he's the ultimate tournament play, because I was on Javier in this spot just in terms of like strikeouts, and it did not materialize. The Yankees ran the count up on him. He didn't get the enough strikeouts early. And Hunter Brown, I think, is in a similar spot here. But like I can't ignore the upside that he possesses from time to time. At 8,400, I think he's an upside play in GPPs. If I'm in 3-entry max or single entry, I'm playing 0 Hunter Brown. If I'm 20 max or more, I'm absolutely sprinkling in some Hunter Brown against the Yankees.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think he's a strong tournament play. 8,400 is just a very nice price tag for him. What about you interested in any Yankees going up against Hunter Brown?
I mean, look, Hunter Brown, he can give up some runs from time to time. He still needs to get his control together a little bit. So I don't mind like mini stacks of Yankees. And I know you're saying, well, why wouldn't you just stack him if he has control issues? I think he'll give up some home runs. But all in all, I think I won off the big bats. Judge, Stanton. One of my favorite hitters from the Yankees has been Gleyber Torres this season. I don't mind Torres. But that's kind of how I'm going to treat the Yankees. I don't want to stack them. I don't mind one-offs.
I think you can maybe mix in, if they get some good lineup spots, some Jake Bauers, some Billy McKinney, stuff like that, and spread it into a full stack with salary savers. But I'm definitely more interested in Houston. We're only 2 games into this slate, but I very well may like Houston as my number 1 stack on the board.
Oh, man, Severino's been awful, hasn't he? And the main thing about Severino is he's ever since he's had that injury and come back, he's just not the same. And so for me, here's how I try to measure it. And this is just me personal. It's not right or wrong. It's just personal. If you come back and you get shelled, but you're still getting 6 to 8 strikeouts a game, like it's like, okay, you probably just need to work your way back into some good control. Like, you get 2 or 3 strikeouts, you give up a run. You get two or 3 strikeouts, you give up a bomb. He's not doing any of this. He's just walking out there being a punching bag. I love Houston today. I don't even want to name names, but I'm just like, this is a team I'm going to stack everybody. The whole team, 1 through 9, mix and match, build it in lineup HQ. Certain guys, I will obviously, you'll set up your rules so you can get Alvarez as a one-off, Tucker as a one-off, Bregman as a run-off, so forth and so on. And then there are other guys where they'll probably only be in the stacks, like Jose Abreu, Martin Maldonado. Like, I don't want to one-off Maldonado, but he will be in stacks only. And I think that's how I would treat this team. The big bats are like in one-off consideration because they could absolutely hit a 2 or 3 run bomb in the spot and just blow the slate up. But the secondary pieces will be stacks only.
No notes, 100% the same page. I love Houston, and I feel like I will be handling them the exact same way. Next up, we got Kansas City and the Philadelphia Phillies, 9 total in this one. Jordan Lyles going up against Aaron Nola. You have any interest in Jordan Lyles going up against Philadelphia? Nope. What about Aaron Nola going against Kansas City?
So Nola's I'm saying he's close to being like elite here in this spot. Here's why. Like, we've seen the best of times from Aaron Nola, and we've seen the worst of times. And TJ, we've seen all of that within the past month, right? We've seen an elite start against Tampa Bay, which is a good team. 7 1/3, 12 strikeouts. We've seen the worst of times at Pittsburgh, 4 2/3 strikeouts, 4 2/3 innings, 6 strikeouts, and gives up 5 runs to Pittsburgh. We've had a mixed bag with Aaron Nola all season. I'm going to side with him in this spot against Kansas City, against the younger team. I know they've still got a couple pieces like Matt Duffy hitting at the bottom of the lineup who's seasoned, and Salvador Perez. But all in all, this is still a slightly younger team. I'm going to side with Aaron Nola here. Don't let me down, buddy. It's the Kansas City Royals. Go out, do your job. He's at home. Get the job done, and put the fantasy points up there for the people.
I think he will likely be the highest projected pitcher on the slate. And so due to that, I feel like he's probably going to be your cash game guy. For me personally, it's going to be ownership dependent in tournaments. If we see a 30-40% owned Aaron Nola, I'm going to be underweight. If he's 15-20%, then yeah, I'm all good getting to some Aaron Nola. That's kind of how I want to handle this one. What about the bats going up against Nola? He struggled. I think maybe you could play a little KC if you're running 150 lineups, but this definitely isn't they're not going to project well, and this isn't going to be a top target. No KC for you?
I don't see it, man. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this lineup, and I understand that Bobby Witt's been good recently. But, like, all in all, man, I think I'm just going to trust Nolan in this spot and he gets it done. And that should tell you how I feel about Kansas City, like, expressionless. They're just not good right now. But they're young. I think they're going to be good long term, but not right now. I don't want to play any Kansas City.
Philly going up against Jordan Lyles, I think, is definitely in an interesting spot. Lyles is somebody we always like targeting. For what it's worth, he's pitched a lot better lately, but it's been against some weaker opponents. Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Real Muto, Castellanos, Stott, Bohm. I think all of them are in play, but my favorite by far is Kyle Schwarber, and $4,600 is just too cheap for him.
Yeah, I like Schwarber. I like this team. So one of the things about Jordan Lyles, TJ, is he's going to give up hits, right? So he might not give up a home run every time up, but he is going to give up hits. And so if he's going to give up hits, then I think you have to be interested in Philly. I mean, man, as bad as Trey Turner's been, why is he still 5,100, by the way? Like, shouldn't his price be coming down? Like, I feel like we're getting duped here by DraftKings. Like, Trey Turner should be 4K until he gets better. When many years ago, when Giancarlo Stanton was like the worst player in baseball for a period where he just couldn't hit anything, he was down in the 3K range. Why does Trey Turner get the 5K treatment every game? He's been awful. I'm saying that to say, bring the price down so we can play him and utilize him in these stacks. It's got to turn for him, at least I hope.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long.
I like this team as a whole. I like Marshall.
I was just going to say, it hasn't been that long. Turner's been struggling. And so I could see it if this lasts another week or two. It could definitely start dropping. But the annoying thing with him this year is he's been like super hot for a week, terrible for 2. Super hot for a week, terrible for 2. So I feel like those hot weeks always kind of bump his price back up, and then it takes him a while to jump down. But yeah, I'm with you. I like this Philly team quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. LSU for life says because of his name. I agree, bro. Like, I agree 100%. His name's Trey Turner, and they don't want to bump his price down. The man should be 4,500 at least with the way he's been performing here.
Chicago White Sox at Cleveland Guardians. I don't know why I wanted to talk about this game so early, but we finally made it back to the one I jumped the gun for. 8.5 total in this one. We got and I just realized we probably actually could have done the Toronto-Boston one first based on the DraftKings one, but whatever, Will, we're going for it. We got Mike Clevenger at Logan Allen. Do you have any interest in Clevenger going up against Cleveland?
Man, I don't think so. Even at 6,900. And look, I know Clevenger. I take that back. Clevenger did recently have a nice game against Cleveland, but all in all, Cleveland hasn't been a high strikeout team. I'm going to stick to my guns here. I don't think I want to play Clevenger. So yeah, I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, I don't think I need to go there either. Going up against Cleveland, Clevenger is never a guy I really like targeting that much. Maybe similar to a Dean Kramer. If he lands there, you're fine. But I don't think I have any interest in going to Mike Clevenger in this spot. What about Logan Allen going up against the White Sox? White Sox have been reeling a little bit lately. Traded Jake Berger, and he was their second most dangerous hitter to left-handed pitching. So any interest in Logan Allen at 7,900?
I'm close on Logan Allen just because it's the White Sox, and they haven't been great. Now, the White Sox do still carry a lot of name value, in my opinion. Like, when you look at this team, on paper, they should be good. You still got Tim Anderson under 4K, Luis Robert, Jimenez, Benintendi. Like, they've got guys, right? I mean, I feel like Yasmani Grandal should be better. Like, they just got guys. Yohan Moncada, he's back. I think I still want to play a sprinkle of Logan Allen in tournaments, just in case. Like, we saw the best they could have possibly done to Scherzer today in the first inning, and Scherzer comes back and gets 9 strikeouts. Now, hear me out. Logan Allen is not Max Scherzer. The point stands that strikeouts are in this lineup. The White Sox haven't been playing up to their name value, and I'm not going to let that intimidate me in the DFS streets. I think Logan Allen is in tournament consideration for sure.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is I do like targeting the White Sox with right-handed pitching more than left, like Robert, Jimenez, Andrew Vaughn, even Trace Thompson and Tim Anderson. These are all guys who can hit lefties pretty well. There's going to be there should probably, we're projecting right now, this is early in the day. Now, of course, Benintendi absolutely could pop himself back in there by the time when we get these lineups here tomorrow. But as no lefties in this projected lineup. I don't think I love Logan Allen, but this is honestly a game I just kind of wish didn't exist. I'll probably play some White Sox because they're cheap. I'll probably play a few White Sox because they're cheap, but I could see Allen doing well. I could see the White Sox doing well, but I don't. I could see Clevenger doing well. I could see Cleveland doing well, but I don't want to play any of them.
Yeah, I will say this: the incentive is in the cheap players. Tim Anderson at 3,900, I think, is valuable. Moncada at 3,400 is valuable. Yasmani Grandal at 2,800 is valuable. Jimenez at 4,100. I think he pinch hit today. Yeah, he did pinch hit today. I think it's valuable. They have value at those prices, so I get it. You could do worse than those names for under 4K, is what I'm really saying.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm with you on that one. Any Cleveland going up against Clevenger?
I don't like Clevenger. I don't really want to play Cleveland. It's like Jose Ramirez is always going to be good, right? Or mostly good. Which, I mean, they sent what's his face? They sent their shortstop to the Dodgers, Rosario. Is it Rosario?
Yeah.
Yeah, they sent him to the Dodgers. So it's I just don't like this team. I don't like this game. And I know that's what you were saying. It's just kind of a blah situation all around. I don't expect any pitcher to get completely blown up. I don't expect either offense to go off for 8 runs. So
exactly the same way I feel.
Yeah, it's just
just cross this one off. We've already spent too much time talking about it. But you can something like a Jimenez, Ramirez, Bo Naylor mini stack. I think that's totally reasonable. If Will Brennan gets in there for a good lineup spot, he's fine. Josh Naylor, we're currently projecting in, but he is still dealing with that side injury. So keep an eye on whether he's going to be in there or not. Blue Jays and Red Sox. The next one, we got a 10 total in this game. Alek Manoah going up against James Paxton. Let me preface this by saying I am a Manoah truther. They said at the beginning of the year he wasn't ready. It was going to take him some time to figure it out. It's taken him way more time than we've expected for him to get right. But he hasn't looked very bad in these last couple of games. The walks are still there, but he's limiting contact a lot better, getting some more strikeouts. you don't play Alek Manoah in this spot, even though he's super cheap. He has always struggled against lefties, and Boston is just a team that was going to go almost all left-handed, and the left-handed hitters are great. So absolutely no Alek Manoah in this spot. James Paxton on the other side, I think he's very interesting. He has not been consistently dominant like he was earlier in the season. The strikeouts have dipped a little bit. But the Blue Jays offense it's in a funk. Bo Bichette is not there. They've struggled. They've been a team that's due for some like positive regression, and they shouldn't be this bad against lefties. They're hitting the ball hard, but we haven't seen it. The production hasn't existed all year, and so I actually do really like Paxton at this 9K spot.
Yeah, same here. I don't have to repeat anything. You said everything I would have said. This is fantastic.
We've been on the same page with that lately. Like for Houston, Cleveland, just like
just get out of my head, guy. Get out of my head.
No Toronto bats in this one for me. I don't think outside of like maybe Guerrero, Whit Merrifield, and Matt Chapman mini stack. I think that is totally reasonable. But if you get Danny Jansen in a good lineup spot, I think he's going to be one of the better cheap catchers on the slate. But this hasn't been an offense that's been able to just put together really big games. They have guys who hit home runs, but they have not been doing well for full stacks.
And they haven't been doing well. Like Bo Bichette being out of this lineup, the strikeouts have just been there for everybody. I mean, even bad pitches. I've been watching the games. I'm like, oh no. Guys picking up 4, 5, 6 strikeouts against this team. That should absolutely not be doing it. And you're telling me I'm getting James Paxton coming in, or Toronto coming to Boston, and Paxton's on the mound, who does actually have reasonable strikeout ability. I can't, within a good conscience, tell anybody to play Toronto today. In terms of stacking, like you said, I also know that Paxton's probably going to give up a home run or two. I just don't think it's going to be massive enough to warrant stacking up the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I agree with you there. They're not going to warrant the stack. Like Danny Jansen, if he's batting 5th or 6th at 3K going up against Paxton in Boston, that's a great play. That's a great spot. That's probably one of the better catching spots on the slate. But the full stack, I don't see it. Boston, on the other hand, I think they're very interesting going up against Manoah. They're probably going to be somewhat chalky, but Will, I'm going to steal this one from you because you gave me one of the morning grind games mid-show. I'm taking Rafael Devers at 5-1 as my guy to hit a home run.
Oh, I like it, man. See, we're being very efficient with this show. They didn't come, for whatever reason, we didn't have the morning grind last night. So tonight, you're getting efficiency. You're getting the morning grind game in the middle of the show. We've already got Mountcastle under 4K. We've got Devers over 5K. This is great. This is great stuff. But I do really like Boston. I think this is a good team all the way through, too. Like, so you talk about Devers, but Verdugo at 3,900, I think he's another one of those under 4K candidates today, in my opinion. I think,
I was just going to do it. I was like, you're on the same team. Let's go with Alex Verdugo. He is riding a 6-game hitting streak right now.
He's crazy.
Better. They've been bumping him from 6 to 2 in the lineup, and that's a pretty big bump for a guy like him, maybe getting an extra at bat. And so, I like this team as a full stack, but I'm going to go with Alex Verdugo as my under 4K to get 2 hits.
Yeah, crazy.
Miami at Texas. We got an 8.5 total in this.
Are you sure this is the right game? I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I got it. I'm locked back in. I don't think I'm gonna be mixing and matching them again, but we'll see. We're early. We're only halfway through. It could happen.
Yeah.
Miami and Texas, 8.5 total in this one. Jesus Luzardo, Jordan Montgomery. Any interest in Luzardo going into Texas?
Listen, Luzardo's been fantastic this season. Excuse me. I, for one, have benefited from Luzardo being amazing. I've been fading everyone against Texas, and I'm going to continue to do that today. I don't care how good Luzardo's been. He's going to sit on the shelf. Do I think he's a great tournament play? Absolutely. He's 9,500. He can get strikeouts. Like I think for tournaments, he's fine. I'm just not going to do it against the Texas Rangers today.
It's as scary as a play as there is on the slate, I think. And so because of that, if he's going to be like sub 5% owned, I'm running 150 lineups. I'll double the field on that.
Yeah.
But definitely not somebody I think you're considering in a single entry type scenario in this one. What about Jordan Montgomery going up against Miami, 8,100? That just feels like a guy that's almost probably like he's got a great chance to go out there and get you 15 points. But I don't think we're going to get anything else other than that from him. So I don't really want to go with Jordan Montgomery. Miami's a team I like targeting, but I'd rather do it in Miami.
Yeah, I'm not targeting Montgomery to the 8,100. My sentiments exactly. What I will say, though, is Jordan Montgomery is serviceable enough in real life. I got to commend Texas. They're going for it. You go out and get Scherzer. You go out and get Montgomery. Like they're trying to win. I got to hand it to them. Like they're trying to be a competent baseball team this season, and it's really showing in their production. But I'm not playing Jordan Montgomery in this slate. For what it's worth.
I think there's a very, very interesting mini stack here that's going to probably be pretty contrarian, but I love it. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to full stack. I wouldn't tell you not to play Jazz Chisholm and whatever other cheap play you want in there, but Jorge Soler,
yes,
Jake Berger, Brian Dela Cruz. That there is a phenomenal mini stack.
Yeah, absolutely. It's big time. And I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know why we're agreeing so much on this show, but Jorge Soler.
There's no it's making the banter more difficult when it's just like, yep, same.
Yeah, I mean Jorge Soler. Okay, so let me say this. Let me add a little bit to it. To me, Jorge Soler is like the ultimate one-off today. Like if you're not playing anybody else from Miami, get Jorge Soler in your life. Like he could legit hit 2 bombs today. And like nobody else in Miami do anything. I don't think that's completely accurate. I think if he scores, other people are scoring too. But like my point is, he's a big time. He's probably a shot for a Spidey bomb today if I had to call one.
Yeah, I like that a lot as well. Jorge Soler, Rafael Devers, 2 of the probably first people that I'm going to and then I mean, his odds won't be as good, so he won't be a Spidey bum because he's pretty obvious. But I can almost guarantee I'll be betting on Alvarez. I'll be betting on Mountcastle. I'll be betting on Devers. And I'll be betting on Jake Berger as well as Jorge Soler in this one. Yeah. What about the Texas bats going up against Luzardo? Luzardo has every now and then where he can get a bit wild, give up some hard contact. Texas is an elite offense. This is a team that, like, I probably won't touch either spot in single entry, but in MME, I'll try and get a little overweight both sides.
Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Like, Texas is a mass multi-entry team just in case because they're so good. They're kind of like the Braves. Really, if you're stacking the Braves every day, you probably need to be stacking Texas, especially with Corey Seager back. Like, having Corey Seager back helps this lineup tremendously. And they were playing well while he was gone, but having him back to not only set the table a little bit, but just gather information. Think about a guy that doesn't strike out a lot, can make good contact. He can just help the guys gather information on the pitcher along the way. I'm with you. Stack Texas. They're not a primary team for me. Single entry, I'm not doing it. 3 entry max, I'm not doing it. 20 entry max, I might have them in 2 or 3. 150, better believe I'm probably getting 10% of the Texas Rangers for sure.
I'm not going to complain that we're agreeing on everything and it's being efficient because upstairs I just heard my wife get home and she's been out of town for the last week. So we can keep on rolling through this. The next game we got Arizona, we got Minnesota, Bailey Ober going up against Merrill Kelly. Any interest in Merrill Kelly in this spot?
This is the top pitcher on the slate. This is the guy.
Let's get it. Minnesota. Everybody strikes out against, everybody strikes out and has big games against Minnesota.
Right? You just do it. This is the Nike team of the league. Just do it. I know Liberatore had a terrible day today. Doesn't matter. Go back and check the track record. Every pitcher that's reasonable, and I don't consider Liberatore reasonable. I didn't consider Dakota Hudson reasonable either yesterday. He picked up 6 or 7 strikeouts against this team. Merrill Kelly at 8,800. This is like the spot of all spots. You hear me pounding my fist here. You see me getting excited. Merrill Kelly, folks, should, and I'm stressing this should be his elite spot of the season. Like, I know he's kind of just coming back. He's got 2 starts under his belt since coming off the IL. He faced Seattle. He picked up 6 strikeouts against Seattle, which is a similar type upside strikeout matchup. He gave up too many runs. I don't think he's going to do this against the Minnesota Twins. I'm banking on Merrill Kelly putting the hammer down here. 7 to 8 strikeouts. Give it to us, Mr. Merrill Kelly. 8,800, one of my top plays on the day.
He's my favorite pitcher on the slate, Chief.
Stop it, man. Stop
it. He is.
Guys,
pitchers against Minnesota. We've been saying it for the last 2 weeks. Pitchers against Minnesota. I love it. What about Bailey Ober on the other side going up against Arizona? You don't play pitchers against Arizona.
No, you don't.
I crazy enough on a little 4-game slate with terrible pitching this morning. I actually played a little Tristan Beck at 4K relief pitcher. And it actually went pretty well. But that was a 4K relief pitcher. That's a totally different type of scenario. What about Arizona going up against Ober?
Yes. I like it. I don't trust Ober today. Like, and we've seen him in a sense, like, kind of come down to earth. Like, he was like pitching really well earlier in the season. And I mean, pretty much 20 fantasy points or more almost every game. But we've seen him get touched up. This last spot against Kansas City, 11 hits. The time before that, Chicago White Sox, 5 hits. Against Seattle, 7 hits. Like, you start giving up hits, the runs are going to come. And you don't want to be giving up this many hits against the Arizona Diamondbacks. I like this team big time today. This is probably another one of my favorite stacks on the slate.
So for what it's worth, I think in the context of this slate, I like them more than I thought I would. In a vacuum, just Arizona against Ober, that's kind of like a mid-tier fine stack for me. But there's been one stack only on this entire slate, Houston, that I'm like, ooh, I need them. That is my team. And so I could almost guarantee going into this spot, my single entry will be a Houston stack with Merrill Kelly. But I don't mind Arizona either. I think I probably like just like a Corbin Carroll. I mean, one of my favorite salary savers always is Alek Thomas. This guy has power. I really like Alek Thomas. And so maybe like a little mini stack with Marte, Thomas, and Carroll, maybe Perdomo instead of Marte, something like that. Jace Peterson's there now. There are definitely options, but I think I like the mini stack a bit better than the full. And then in terms of the full, they're probably in like the tier 2 or 3 for me. I don't think I'm going to be getting any Minnesota against Merrill Kelly.
Yeah. No. I'm saying yes, I'm agreeing with you. No, I'm not playing in Minnesota.
Pittsburgh at Milwaukee. We got a 9 total in this one. Quinn Priester going up against Colin Rea. Priester is a pretty big price. Wow, that was hard to say. Pretty big prospect. Struggled in his first game. Started doing a little bit better in the next 2. Still hasn't pitched over 90 pitches. Milwaukee's got a lot of strikeouts, but I don't think we're going to Priester. They just lit up Pittsburgh on Thursday night.
Yep, not doing it.
Colin Rea against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, again, another team that you don't mind targeting against, but Colin Rea, probably not for me.
Yeah, give us some better pitchers in these fringe games. But yeah, I'm not taking Colin Rea either.
This is another game that I just feel like it doesn't need to be on the slate. One of these offenses might go off. They absolutely might. But I feel the exact same way as Cleveland and the White Sox. It's just like, I don't want you to be here. If
I was banking on one to go off right now, it'd be Milwaukee. But I'm going to cross this game off, call it Family Feud. That's what I'm doing. Not considering this game at all for DFS purposes.
I'll have a little bit of exposure in MME. Pittsburgh is really cheap, and I do always like Jack Suwinski. Jack Suwinski is somebody that is always in play for me. And then on the Milwaukee side of things, a little bit of Sal Frelick and Christian Yelich, Willie Adames, I don't mind. But again, this isn't really a theme I'm looking to get to very much. We got Colorado at St. Louis, cruising through this one. Chris Flexen going up against Adam Wainwright, probably the 2 worst pitchers on the entire slate. This game is not in Coors. What is we're not playing Flexen or Wainwright, but what is it's an immovable object against a very, very movable object against a I don't know how to do this in reverse, but a force that
Yeah.
has no power.
They're not
Wainwright is
unstoppable
terrible.
forces.
Colorado is terrible.
Yeah.
Which one breaks?
No unstoppable forces with plenty of moving objects.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
Honestly, I think you just get light stacks for both of them. Like, I don't want to overlook how bad Adam Wainwright has been this season. And as bad as the Colorado Rockies have been, if they were ever going to score 7 or 8 runs, it's today. Like, you just have to be honest with yourself. Like, I think Wainwright is worse than the Rockies. And Chris
The
Flexen
Wainwright bump is bigger than the Coors Field bump.
Yeah, I think both of these teams are in mini stack consideration. Both. And I think that's how I treat both of these teams seriously.
Colorado, I like more as the mini stack just because they don't have enough good hitters. But Ryan McMahon, Nolan Jones, and Elias Diaz, heck yeah, fire that up. I think that is a great mini stack. And then on the St. Louis side of things, I'm more interested in full stacking this one. Gorman got scratched, and so if he might not be there, Donovan's out for the season. So that does limit the lefty power in this one, but Flexen will give up bombs to both sides of the plates. Lars Nootbaar is probably my favorite on this team, but Goldschmidt and Arenado, they're great too. And then if you need to mix in some salary savers, there's nothing wrong with Tyler O'Neill or like a Jordan Walker or Alex Burleson if they're in there. So I like St. Louis as the mini stack, like you said. Just roll with either Arenado or Goldschmidt. Get yourself some Nootbaar and find yourself a salary saver. I think that's all good, but two terrible pitchers in this one. I'm going to want to wait and see what the ownership is on these offenses. Because I don't like either of these offenses this year outside of a couple St. Louis players, but these are two absolutely terrible pitchers. There's a reason, like, this is one of the very few times we will ever see a 9.5 total in a Colorado game that is not in Coors, especially with how terrible their lineup is right now. And so Wainwright might just be worse than that Colorado offense. St. Louis is broken down. They're missing a bunch of guys, but it's still Chris Flexen going up against them. So I honestly would probably put these might be just in the context of the slate, like kind of my number 2 and 3 stacks, maybe 3 and 4, 4 and 5 out after Arizona and Boston. Definitely way behind Houston, but I kind of would put these guys in the same bucket as Boston and Arizona. I think they'd be in the same tier for me. Luis Castillo and Reed Detmers in the Seattle Mariners against the Los Angeles Angels. 8.5 total in this one. You have any interest in Luis Castillo at 10-2 going up against the Angels?
Man, Castillo, I want to. I don't know. I think I'm going to do it. I think he's worth it because I think he can still go out and get 30. Now, will he on this slate? I don't know. And we'll never know like until the slate is over, but I think he's worth the investment. The strikeouts have come down recently, but I still think there's an upside against the Angels here.
Yeah, I agree. And I think he's going to be one of the top projected pitchers. I'll probably like better between him and Nola. The one I'd probably choose is whichever one is lower owned. But I do think I like Luis Castillo a little bit.
I gotta think he's going to be lower owned than Nola. Nola gets the Kansas City matchup. I think the eye candy is going to be Nola against Kansas City.
I think Castillo probably strikes out 8 Angels, and I think Ohtani probably takes them deep once or twice. How about Detmers going up against Seattle? Only 8,200 for him.
I like this. Detmers has been good this season overall. I'm not going to let a couple of starts here recently derail that. The strikeouts have still been there, and that's one thing I like. TJ, if the strikeouts are still there, I'm still willing to get involved. Like when you start giving up runs and you're not getting strikeouts, like Severino, that's when I have a problem. But when you look at Detmers, ran the pitch count up against Toronto, ran the pitch count up against Pittsburgh, even against Houston recently, had 6 strikeouts, had a quality start. Well, not a quality start, completed 6 innings, just gave up too many runs. I think against the Angels, there's going to be some power there. Like you got CJ Cron, but he's been better against righties. I like this spot for him.
That's the thing right there is this projected lineup we're projecting for Seattle. 8 righties in there and only one lefty. Well, Detmers has a 19% K rate to lefties, giving up tons of power, 216 ISO, and a 32% K rate to righties this year. Now, it does seem a little bit wonky based on the hard hit percentages and the ground ball percentages. That's just like a bit of like a little noisy from lefties.
Yeah.
But the K rate to righties sure as hell isn't. That's something with over 300 plate attempts. And so
Yeah.
Detmers, I think, is one of the top tournament pitchers on the board. I
Put
think
him and Kelly together, you can load up a team.
That's my favorite. I think Detmers Kelly with Houston the night before. As we
Oh,
look at
man.
this, that is my favorite way to build a lineup.
That's juicy.
I don't think it'll be highly owned.
Really?
I think Houston will be, but I don't think Kelly Detmers will be.
I don't know, man. I feel like
I don't think they're going to necessarily be sneaky, but I'd be willing to bet that both Detmers and Kelly are projected for lower ownership than Castillo and Nola.
I would for sure put that on Nola. Yeah, for sure. I'm with you.
Bats in this game, Ohtani, absolutely. Julio Rodriguez or Cal Raleigh as a one-off against Detmers, absolutely. Full stacks, neither of these teams.
Yeah, same here. I mean, because both of these guys can pick up strikeouts. So I don't want to play around. Like, it's just one-offs. I'm not stacking either team. Especially, honestly, I think especially Seattle. I'm definitely not stacking Seattle here.
We're getting the hang of this thing, Chief, this morning grind. We're getting efficient with it. We're going to get through 11 games here in 45 minutes.
Well, it helps when you got 6 trash teams on the slate facing each other.
It also helps too. I don't know if you were here for this, if you heard this whole story or not. I can't remember who I've told it to, or if you tuned into the show. But it also helps when you actually press live when you start your show. Yeah. I was doing this with Keith, and I completely forgot about it, and so I was 45 minutes late. And then we started. I run downstairs. I send him the link. I do the description. We're talking about a 14-game slate. We get 6 games in, and we realize that the live has not been pressed. And we have to restart from the beginning. It was, oh my goodness, it was painful. I was so frazzled that night. I was all over the place. But
classic.
We're on our A game tonight, folks. We are ready to roll. And the final game of the slate, we got the Dodgers and Padres, 2 big time offenses going toe to toe. We got Bobby Miller and Yu Darvish, 2 of the better pitchers on this slate, but going up against 2 of the better offenses on this slate. Do you have any interest in Bobby Miller against the Padres?
Oh, man. I feel like this is going to be a fade for me. And let me tell you why. I feel like the Padres, and they're at home, I feel like people have undervalued the Padres. You keep hearing stuff like the fraudres and all this stuff. But I'm looking at the numbers, and the numbers tell me the Padres are fine. And so Bobby Miller's a young guy. I think, they're going to run the pitch count up on him a little bit. I'm also not saying that he doesn't pick up strikeouts. I'm saying I think the Padres have enough. Like when you've got Juan Soto that you've got to deal with, that could be an 8 to 10 pitch at bat, every at bat. Because as we've seen with Juan Soto, deadly to righties in terms of being able to run up the pitch count, very rarely striking out and taking walks. He's going to work Bobby Miller here. And then you got to deal with Tatis. You got to deal with Cronenworth. It's a lot of guys you got to deal with on this team. You got to deal with Xander Bogaerts, another guy. Even though he's a righty, he's going to work. Bobby Miller's going to have to pitch in this game. There aren't going to be a whole lot of easy outs. At 7,500, I understand it. I definitely think he has the strikeout stuff. Let me say that. I think if I'm in mass multi-entry, big-time 150 lineups, because of the price, he is 7,500, I think I take a couple shots. But if he gets blown up, I'm not going to be surprised.
I think it's more likely that he gets blown up, but because of that price tag and the strikeout upside is exactly like what you said, he's going to make the MME pool for me. Not a primary target, but at 7,500 with his upside, he's going to make the MME pool for me. Yu Darvish has been pitching quite a bit better lately. He got lit up he's pretty consistently over this last stretch been either amazing or terrible. There's been absolutely
no
no
in
for
between.
you, Darvish. I don't really ever want to play a pitcher against the Dodgers. 8,300 is a nice price tag for you. Maybe he sneaks into the MME pool, but I don't want to.
So this is This is Yu Darvish in a nutshell. His past 2 starts, and I'm going to explain this for a reason. He faces the Texas Rangers, one of the best offenses in baseball, 32.5 fantasy points. He faces the Pittsburgh Pirates, a not so good offense in baseball, and puts up negative 4.9 fantasy points. Also, that's baseball. The best pitcher in the world could struggle with the worst offense in the world that day. Just didn't have it. Could just be off. You never know. Mentally, just may have not have been there. Maybe he was thinking about a cheeseburger and fries all day and had a craving. We don't know. But the point is, that's Yu Darvish. But I don't think. I think I'm going to fade him against the Dodgers today. I feel like he has a modest performance, if at best. I don't think he's going for 32.5 fantasy points against the Dodgers.
What about the Dodgers going up against you? You've been a little reverse splitsy this year. I think Mookie Betts is in a fantastic spot. The Dodgers aren't going to make the same tier as like Houston for me, but just because they're the Dodgers, they're probably in the same boat of that tier 2 for me as Arizona and those teams.
Yeah, I'll probably one off some Dodgers, and as crazy as that sounds, maybe mini stacks like 2-mans or 3-mans at most, because as we've seen, if you gets roughed up, he gets roughed up, and that's kind of my stance with the Dodgers here.
Yeah, I want to definitely make sure I have some exposure because they're one of the best offenses in baseball, and if we get bad, they could put up a lot of runs in a hurry. What about San Diego against Bobby Miller? You can always situation. Yeah, like you can always play Tatis, Machado. Kim's been hitting the ball really well. Cronenworth is got the platoon advantage. Sanchez always has power. But for me, this is like similar to the Dodgers where it's like Mookie Betts, Juan Soto, rest of the team quite a bit.
Yeah. And let me do this too, TJ, because I don't want people to feel like they left this show and they're like, well, who are we playing today? Folks, Houston against Severino, big time upside. Arizona against Bailey Ober, big time upside. Now, this one is sneaky, for me anyway. This one is sneaky. Texas against Miami, or Texas against Luzardo. And then I know this guy's kind of not going to fit the bill because he's right under 5K and, not under 4K. Jorge Soler, ultimate one-off tournament play today. If there isn't any other one-off ultimate play on the slate, he's definitely one. And then
I want to throw in Boston, Colorado, St. Louis.
Yes, there you go.
That's the entirety of offenses. Then you look at pitchers today, and yes, the 10K guys, Castillo, Nola, wait and see ownership, but they're both very strong plays. We like this right below 9K tier. Merrill Kelly and Detmers as our top guys, but Hunter Brown and James Paxton, little bit of Jesus Luzardo, maybe. They're in there. The sub 8K guys, they're just if you needs. They're not like you really want them, but they're just if you need them. Logan Allen, Dean Kramer, Bobby Miller, all of these guys where it's like you don't really want to play them, but if you land on them, it's totally okay. The sub 7K range, not today. None of those options are really standing out. I don't think we need the salary to really do it. Let's finish through the morning grind game. I had Verdugo for 2 hits. You had Ryan Mountcastle for 2 hits. Yeah. I got Devers to hit a home run over 5K. Who do you got to hit a home run over 5K?
I got to give me my boy Corbin Carroll.
There it is. And so all of our favorite pitchers are over 8K. Who's your favorite under 8K, though, to get 6 or more strikeouts?
Under 8K, I would probably have to go with – I'm going to go with Logan Allen.
I'll take my guy, Bobby Miller. And then finally, who's your pitcher over 8K to bust?
Oh, Bailey Ober. Easy.
I think he's the easy one as well. And I'm going to go with Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish against the Dodgers, I think, is going to bust. And that'll do it for this edition of the Morning Grind. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out of here. Thank you to everybody who tuned in live. Thank you to everybody who is listening on Friday morning. Chief's going to be back Friday morning with the Take Your Pick'em show.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on Grinders Live with Dean and Kirkwood on Friday, and then the Crunch Time crew is going to be following us. So lots of great content. MLB season is I'm not coming to the close. It's still pretty much in the early second half. Yeah. But we got NFL preseason, and the NFL season is drawing closer and closer and closer. Chief, do you got anything for the people before we get out of here?
Negativo, mi amigo.
Nice seeing you as always. I hope you have a great weekend, and good luck, everybody, on your contests. Hopefully you win some money, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace.